people ought not only to be armed and disciplined, but they should have sufficient arms and ammunition to maintain a status of independence from any who might attempt to abuse them, which would include their own government. What is that? A quote from George Washington. So what does that lead us into? Gun laws. We're going to talk about 3 different things today. First, CDC statistics on death. Second, we're going to talk about a city in our nation who has some of the strictest gun laws in the country. And third, we're going to talk about the Second Amendment. So let's go to the CDC. If you'll look up here, you see all my pretty colors. Right here, we have death by poisoning. Right here in orange, we have death by motor vehicle crash. Over here in blue, death by falls. What do we have right here in pink? Right here in pink, we have death by firearms. So what does that tell you? That tells you that you are more likely to die falling down your stairs. You're more likely to die in a car crash than you are to be shot and killed. But let me tell you about somewhere where that's not quite so true. Chicago. Chicago has some of the strictest gun laws in our nation. What else does Chicago have? One of the highest death rates. In 2012, 1.5 people died per day from gunshots. Now, I'll be the first to admit that happened in a small area of Chicago, and it was primarily from gang members. But what does that tell us right there? That the criminals in Chicago are who have the firearms. Their strict laws are preventing the law-abiding citizens like you all from having guns. They're not preventing the criminals from having guns. So what does this tell us? Chicago has infringed upon our Second Amendment rights. The Second Amendment tells us a well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Chicago has infringed on the rights of the people. The criminals still have the guns. The law-abiding citizens do not. Let me tell you guys about someone who exercised his right to bear arms. He exercised his Second Amendment rights. It's a man named Dr. Lee Silverman. So what did Mr. Silverman do? On July 24th, 2014, a man by the name of Richard Plotz entered the Mercy Fitzgerald Hospital in Philadelphia. Mr. Plotz was diagnosed with a mental illness. Mr. Plotz also was a convicted felon. Mr. Plotz loaded a gun, put it in his pocket, along with 39 additional rounds of ammunition. What did I tell you about Mr. Plotz? He's mentally ill. He couldn't pass background checks to get a firearm. So why did he have it? He was a felon. Couldn't get a firearm. Well, why did he have it? Because criminals don't care about the law. But Dr. Silverman, on the other hand, a well-respected psychiatrist who did exercise his Second Amendment rights, had his gun with him that day. When Mr. Plotz entered Dr. Silverman's office, he opened fire. He shot and killed his own caseworker. He also wounded Dr. Silverman. Fortunately for everyone else in that hospital, Dr. Silverman pulled his own weapon and returned fire, striking Mr. Plotz 3 times. Did not kill him, but it did stop him. The police chief and the district attorney have all hailed Mr. Silverman as a hero. They have all said that Mr. Plotz had every intention of using every other bullet he had to take lives. Dr. Silverman could have potentially saved 39 human lives. 39 human lives saved because one man exercised his Second Amendment rights. So think about what I've told you all today. First, yes, people die by guns. But again, you're more likely to die in a crash or a fall than by gunfire. Chicago has strict gun laws, but high rates of gun deaths. And thanks to the Second Amendment, Dr. Silverman saved lives. The only thing that additional gun laws do is allow criminals to have guns and you, law-abiding citizens, to not have them. When you go home tonight, think about that. I want to thank everyone for coming out today. I really do appreciate it. So Zach, if you would go ahead and show my audience, please. All right, if you would please show my note cards. All right, thank you.